Brought to you by Picante Sport Fishing Fleet.
So today we were targeting swordfish in 1,400 to 1,800 feet of water down on the bottom in the daytime. And it's quite a challenge for a man to hand crank up a 15-pound weight and a 100-pound swordfish. So we use a downrigger system. This is a hooker electric reel. It's completely detachable by pushing these two buttons, take the motor right off. But it's mounted on a Penn 80 International VSW 2-speed. And on it we have a wind-on leader, a 300-pound test, and then the reel is filled with 80-pound braid. On the bottom of that we fasten this leader, which has a big release clip on it, and on the very end it has a snap swivel that snaps to an 80-pound monofilament leader to a 15-pound lead. And that's the hard part to bring up. That's harder than the swordfish. So this reel takes care of bringing the lead up and down. This is a 70 Penn International dual speed, and on this reel we filled it with 65-pound braid, and then we have 100 feet of 80-pound monofilament, what they call a top shot, and that's fastened to a 20-foot 300-pound wind-on leader, and then finally we have a 6 to 8 foot bait leader of 300-pound test. On this 80-pound mono, the top shot, at the braid end of it we whip a wax thread loop on there. We let this bait out 100 feet behind the boat as we're traveling with the current to the north. We take the loop that's on here and clip it into our big release clip, which is set at 12 pounds. And then when everything's in position, heading north at about trolling speed, we free spool both reels and the lines plummet to the bottom, all the way to the bottom, as I said before, in 1,400 to 1,800 feet of water. Then we bring the bait up 75 to 100 feet, or the weight up 75 to 100 feet off the bottom so we don't damage the corals or lose the rig. And we wait for a little tap on the rod tip. And a little bitty tap on the rod tip can be anywhere from a 50-pound swordfish to a 500-pound swordfish. We let the fish chase the bait around and beat on a little bit, tease them a little bit, bring it up, let it down. And when the rod starts to bend, the angler starts to wind on this rod, pulls it out of the rod holder, puts in his gimbal, gets tight, it pops out of the clip. He's got a swordfish on, and the mate engages our electric reel. This reel right here, this hooker electric reel, mounted on this Penn 80 International, will bring up 600 feet of line per minute with a 15-pound lead on it. So in just a couple of minutes we can have this out of our way, and our anglers doing battle, IGFA legal, big game daytime sword fishing.
He's not quite done yet. Just when you think he's done, he's not.
Turn around, come back to the surface. All right, get him. Yeah! Oh, it's a nice one. Buried home in the corner.
What a great
Gorgeous.
shot. Look at that. Wow. Look at it whirled up like that.
I'm going to let you reel right to it. I'm going to hit him right in the back before we do anything.
Just released a beautiful 110, 120-pound swordfish on 80-pound stand-up tackle using a hooker electric reel for a downrigger with a release clip, and just pops out just like an outrigger, and up he came. Beautiful feet, absolutely spectacular fish. If you don't do it with a downrigger, you have to do it with breakaway weights or leave the weights on, one or the other. But it takes 10 to 15 pounds of weight to get down to the bottom. And if you want to check the bait, you have to wind all that weight back up. Well, with a downrigger, the weight is controlled with an electric reel. We have a hooker electric reel we use for that. And the angler winds up the bait on a Penn International 70 with no weight at all involved. So by having the downrigger system, it's much easier to fight the fish with no weight encumberment and check the bait with no weight on it.
If you're fishing IGFA, this downrigger system is the way to go because it doesn't tire the angler out, you know, checking the bait all day, reeling up, you know, your lead or bricks or whatever.